Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Season 4 of the hit Disney Plus show, The Mandalorian, likely won't release on schedule due to the current Writers Guild of America, also known as the WGA strike. However, into the regards of a new update for the 4th season of The Mandalorian, and when we could see that, that is exactly what we're going to be discussing and talking about in this video. Season 3 of the popular Star Wars show recently premiered on Disney Plus, and the 4th installment is already planned and even written by Jon Favreau. However, the WGA recently went on strike, fighting for fair pay and better working conditions, which is directly affecting the majority of upcoming movies and shows outside of Disney, and is really something that's affecting everything and anything in the film and television industry. Even though a release window for The Mandalorian Season 3 was never provided by anyone officially from Disney or Lucasfilm, there were reported dates that production was set to begin. However, these dates will more than likely be pushed back, unfortunately, due to the writer's strike. Of course, I do hope that the writers are able to come to a fair conclusion and able to get what they are fighting for. According to a recent report from Deadline.com, Season 4 of The Mandalorian was set to begin filming in September of this year, around October and September. However, the beginning of production will almost definitely be pushed back due to the WGA strike, which recently started and will likely continue for some time. It's impossible to really predict the exact time frame that the WGA and studios will reach an agreement and sign a new deal. Still, some industry insiders believe that it will occur between Labor Day and Christmas, which is a little bit of a gap, which would be sometime between September 4th and December 25th. However, I will also want to say in my own words, I partially disagree with this report here. Of course, I'll have them linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well, but I don't really think that The Mandalorian Season 4 is going to be pushed back, and here's why. We still have a number of other Disney projects that are moving forward when it's filming and doing pre-production and everything like that. The last that I heard is that The Mandalorian Season 4 was set to go into its pre-production towards the end of the year, around September to October, and then begin its actual filming and overall production in next year of 2024, leaving a potential release date for late 2024 or early 2025 for The Mandalorian. And so even then, they're able to kind of get all that pre-production stuff out of the way. That isn't really necessarily something that's going to be affected by the WGA, of course, unless that some of the Disney executives like Jon Favreau find it unfair, and of course are standing with the WGA strike, which we're seeing a lot of the Disney executives actually doing that are working with Lucasfilm, which is really great. So of course, unless Jon Favreau as an executive producer decides to step aside and halt his overall production of Season 4 of The Mandalorian because he agrees with what the WGA is doing, then other than that, there really shouldn't be all that much of a delay for Season 4 of The Mandalorian. However, continuing to take a read here from this article, assuming that the two parties come to some type of agreement during this time frame, Season 4 of The Mandalorian could realistically start its production sometime in early 2024, or possibly even just overall January, as I had mentioned. If Season 4 does begin filming in January of 2024, that would likely mean that it would wrap around 5 months later, most likely in May or June of next year. This would line up similar with previous installments of the hit series. Season 2 began production in October of 2019 and wrapped in March of 2020, and Season 3 started filming in October of 2021 and finished in March of 2022. So it's about 5 to 6 months that it takes for its overall filming process, and then the overall post-production and everything like that, editing, would come to around 6 months or so, 6 to 9 months for that to go ahead. However, what we did see with The Mandalorian Season 2 is that they were actually filming and editing kind of at the same time, and we did see something similar with that with the Ahsoka show and also with the Book of Boba Fett. This was because of some of the COVID reasons, but even then, when you look at later projects like the Ahsoka show, where COVID really isn't that much of a thing that's affecting it anymore, they still are finding this highly effective and efficient to kind of do the editing process while they're filming to a point. So it is very well possible that we could see the same thing for The Mandalorian Season 4. It is just about impossible to make an exact prediction of when Season 4 of The Mandalorian will release on Disney+, but going off of these past examples, once again, it will likely hit the platform 8 to 12 months after it is finished filming. This would mean that Season 4 of The Mandalorian would likely be released on the streaming service sometime between April and June of next year. However, with May right in the middle of those 2 months, Disney and Lucasfilm may treat Star Wars fans to a season premiere on Star Wars Day, May 4th. So while it feels really far away, we're just about kind of like a year away from predicting and from these reasonable estimates of Season 4 of The Mandalorian, ruling everything out. So really, this year all being said, would this affect other Lucasfilm projects such as the Mandoverse movie from Dave Filoni? It was recently confirmed in the past that The Mandalorian is only one part of a greater story being told within the post-Empire era of Star Wars, of those 30 years taking place after the events of the original trilogy, leading us up to the sequel trilogy. There are other Disney Plus projects also that I have mentioned, such as the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew, that are all interconnected with one another to tell a bigger story, similar to the way that the MCU runs. If you're a Marvel fan, I have a Marvel channel linked in the description down below. To cultivate all of these overall streaming shows, Disney and Lucasfilm gave Dave Filoni the green light to direct and write his own feature film about the events taking place on Disney Plus. Something recently confirmed and announced at the Star Wars celebration for this year. We've talked about this plenty of times in and out here on the channel. This movie doesn't yet have a confirmed release date, but past reports stated that it would likely hit theaters in late 2026 or maybe even 2027, so it's still quite some time away. However, these reports didn't take the WGA strike into account, now that that's ongoing. Now that Season 4 of The Mandalorian has to be pushed back in some way or another, really not that much to be honest though, other Mandoverse shows may have to be delayed as well, which would ultimately mean that Filoni's movie would suffer a delay as well, which isn't necessarily the end of the world of course. However, it probably won't be that long of a delay, and the movie will most likely hit theaters sometime in 2027. Also, just thinking about the idea that it probably doesn't take nearly as long to film an actual movie. The movie's only going to be around, what, 2 to 3 hours at most, comparing it to full seasons of these Disney Plus shows, where each episode is around 45 to an hour long. It's really like comparing to filming around 8 hours for one season of The Mandalorian compared to filming around 2.5 hours for a movie. So even then, I don't really think that this Mandoverse movie will take all that long. That could give a comfortable 2-year cushion between the Star Wars film that is supposed to come out in 2025 and James Mangold's movie that will probably release until way later in the decade in 2029, if that project ever happens. Anyway, of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys think here about The Mandalorian Season 4 so far? Overall, as an overall recap, and I'll have plenty of other videos here on the channel discussing and talking about this, of course, as we're getting new updates on it. All the more reason to hit that subscribe button and join us here today on the channel. I really don't think that The Mandalorian Season 4 is going to be pushed back all that much. We're about a year out from it, honestly. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys all think. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.